So now I think one example, one of my friend, Tibetan monk, since 59, he remained in prison next 18 years. So he told me during those 18 years in Chinese prison, he faced some danger or some problem. I thought maybe danger on his life. I asked, what kind of danger? His answer is danger to forget compassion towards Chinese. And so therefore, he considered losing compassion is real danger. So result, his mind very peaceful. So during those periods, you see, a lot of sort of suffering and threat, more fear, more selfish attitude, then more problem. So more compassionate attitude is a peaceful mind. So that's one of my friend's own sort of experience. He told me like that. So therefore, the ultimate source of mental peace or hygiene of emotion is warm-heartedness. Now here, warm-heartedness, the many religious texts mention these things. However, some scientists say basic human nature, since we are a social animal, so from birth, we very much sort of received a lot of sort of affection from other, particularly at the beginning, mother. So since we are a social animal, individuals' life very much depend on rest of communities. So therefore, the sense of compassion is from biologically, from childhood there. Now problem, young children, you see, they love, they appreciate a smile. They don't care what nationality, what color, the family background, rich or poor. So long play together, children, very equal. Once we join our school, then we emphasize secondary level of differences, different religion, different country, some countries, different color, and we too much sort of emphasis on secondary level of differences. That creates suspicion, fear, too much jealousy, these things happen. So now, in education, we should pay more attention the oneness of human being. All 7 billion human beings are human brothers, sisters. We have to live together. So then, also the feeling of sort of suspicion, fear, distrust, or anger, these automatically reduce. So now education, you see, should pay more attention about oneness of 7 billion human being, and then we have to live. Now today, economically, the global economy, no national boundary. And environment issue, also you see, no national boundary. So we have sufficient reasons to explain we need concept of oneness of 7 billion human beings, and we have to live side by side happily. Okay, this is my view.
Thank you, Your Holiness. As oneness of humanity, we are actually living on one planet. And I want to thank you for your new book, Our Only Home, A Climate Appeal to the World. Yes, your message is powerful, that Mother Earth is teaching us a lesson in universal responsibility. It has never been more clear that our health as human beings is inextricably linked to the health of our planet, our only home. In your book, you clearly demonstrate that today's environmental crisis is the crisis of our inner world. In order to prevent the worst, you say we need a new enlightenment, a second one, more profound, an enlightening of the enlightenment. And in order to achieve this, our thinking has to combine religion and philosophy, nature and reason, freedom and responsibility. My question to you, Your Holiness, would you please share with us your vision for the eco-spirituality you mentioned in your book, and also the importance of education of heart in healing our planet and humanity?
그래서
근데 지차들이 나서 가서 고유당 그런서 샘 냠도치 가서래 다고 잡에다 신윤기 돌다지 신윤기 돈이 아니라 미 가서 고유
whether you call spirituality or not, actually our sort of mind should be realistic, and in order to develop realistic sort of the vision, we should think entire world. Just think your own community, your own family, then you see your mind very sort of narrow. In order to develop realistic sort of thinking, the holistic sort of look whole world, one entity, whole and humanity, are sort of our group. So our mind must open, not thinking your own sort of area, thinking whole world. So then, as I mentioned earlier, the one factor, the sense of oneness and taking care each other, look whole world, just one human planet. So that I feel very useful, and through education. Based on the scientific sort of research, scientific finding, like that. So that's my view.
Your Holiness, thank you for that. And I want to just take a moment and also thank Melani and Rob Walton. This is a fantastic event. I thank you so much for helping put this together, and President Fenves as well. What a thrill! 3 Emory colleagues getting together like this. I never dreamed I'd be doing something like this. So thank you, Your Holiness. When I was with you in South India, you said something very interesting to me. You said that whenever you smile, you should smile genuinely. That a warm smile is one of the most important ways to develop friendship and trust. And I've really remembered that, and I think about it quite a bit, just in terms of how I interact with people. I make sure that I'm presenting a genuine image of myself. It's tough nowadays because we are all wearing masks when we are out in public, and we can't even touch each other. We have to keep some distance away from each other now. So I wonder how you think we can continue to express this genuine warmth in the middle of this pandemic.
I think too much suspicion and something like protect yourself and some kind of defense sort of attitude, and then you sort of say distance from other. Then these, I think, mentally very harmful. We should consider all human beings, our brothers or sisters, not only human beings, but even animals. If you sort of also open, we call every sentient being. One exception, mosquito. Otherwise, you see, all birds, animals, is a part of our, something like our community. So there is no basis fear. Open towards everyone and look whole world as a one body. That really brings inner strength. And with that, much less fear, much less sort of suspicion, like that. So we all, I think Indian tradition, ahimsa, non-violence, and karuna, compassion. You see, no discrimination with people, everyone, and including animals. You don't harm them. So all consider part of our sort of our life. So that kind of sort of also the mental thinking, very useful, very useful. According to my own little sort of experience, when I visit a different place, you see, with sort of sense of oneness, everywhere I feel same. So one's own sort of attitude is the key factor. Even animal, you show them closeness feeling. Even these birds also, you see. Once I visited Vienna, Switzerland, one also the garden. You see, people give sort of some food, these animals, birds. So they happily used to come and pick up some seed. So if you show them kindness or open, they automatically used to come. If you feel something, also they fear and prefer distance, then actually you become isolate. So like that, actually our mental level open, a more compassionate attitude towards any sentient being is very helpful, very useful. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, even Dalai Lama always used to look like that, I think I will find less friend. I always smile. So everywhere I go, you see many people show friendly attitude. So these days I'm telling, and through my own practice, the effective, realistic, selfish you should pay more attention about others' well-being. That's the best way, the realistic, effective, selfish thing, selfish way. Think yourself. Then is actually absolutely harmful to self-interest. More altruistic mind is the best way to get your own sort of physical health, mental health, and in the society also you will be happy like that. So whether believer or non-believer, believe religion or not, is a warm-heartedness is the key factor. And therefore, all major world traditions carry one message, that's love, loving kindness. All religions carry that message. Even you see those religious traditions believe Creator, then you see that also is very, very powerful. We all created by one God, God as our Father. So we all are children of one Father. The Father, compassionate Father. So we should consider brothers, sisters from one Father. And that Father is a full compassion. So we are children of that kind of Father. We should be more compassionate children. And then from non-theistic religion, such as Buddhism and Jainism, we consider, you see, a life after life. So not only this life, but beginningless life. So best way to get happy life, compassionate life is the best way. Okay.
Your Holiness, as we continue our conversation about compassion for people and planet, I would like to explore your book further, your new book, Our Only Home. I was moved by your urgent call for a revolution of compassion to protect our planet. You say that simply meditating and praying is not enough. You state how young people need to be rebels, demanding climate protection to save their future and for environmental education to be a priority. Your Holiness, you have pointed out how humans are the only species with the power to destroy our Earth, and also the only species that have the ability to protect it. In doing so, you have suggested 10 commandments for the climate, such as moving to zero emissions, reforestation, and greening our deserts. My question to you, Your Holiness, since nature does not need humans, but we humans need nature, what are the most urgent measures our younger generations must take now to ensure their survival? And how can a fierce commitment and even a confrontational approach to protecting the planet actually be an expression of compassion and loving kindness?
I think existing education, you see, we too much emphasis on secondary level of differences, not much emphasis oneness of 7 billion human beings. As I mentioned earlier, young children, in their mind, by nature, oneness there. In education, now make also the differences, nationality, even if the same community, now the economy considers something important, so gap rich and poor. So in education field, we should, I think it is much better to emphasize oneness of all 7 billion human beings. And if possible, other animals also. Then, you see, naturally, the individual find more sort of also the inner peace. Too much emphasis, differences, then fear or distrust or anxiety, these things happen. So emphasis, oneness, and then these much reduced, like that. Okay.
Your Holiness, thank you very much. I want to build on a little bit on what Ms. Walton was asking about. You know, when we spent time together in South India, I was very fortunate one morning to be present during your personal morning meditation. And it was a very incredibly moving experience for me. And at the end, you explained to me that this was a type of analytical meditation and that it can help cultivate compassion in the brain. We understand the importance of compassion, but the idea that it can be cultivated by one's own practices, I think, was very interesting to me. We think about building muscles, it takes time to build a muscle, but the brain can change very, very quickly in response to meditation. So how does that happen? How is compassion cultivated through meditation?
Now meditation, actually my also the daily sort of practice or meditation, two things. One, selfish, self-centered attitudes consider the source of problem. So meditation to reduce self-centered attitude. So the opposite of self-centered attitudes is altruism, think other. Then self-centered attitudes reduce. So this is one of my main practice. As soon as I wake up morning, I always recite one shloka, so long space remain, so long sentient being remain, I will remain in order to serve them. Very powerful. This one practice. Another practice is, when you get up, I, then investigate, where is I? So this is my body. With that, my brain and my mind. Where is I? Even Buddha's body, not Buddha. Buddha's speech, not Buddha. Buddha's energy, not Buddha. Now where is Buddha? So similarly, now here, the feeling of I, something solid. Now that actually no base. So all mere designated. So that, you see, helping to reduce the strong self here. Now here, quantum physics also now say, things does not exist as appears. The appearance, things objectively exist. But if you investigate nothing, and the deeper reality, all mental creation. Quantum physics now say that. So quite similar. That's, you see, the Buddhist philosophy. You see, if you investigate I, nothing. So, true practice. Altruism reduce self-centered attitude. Then another, like quantum physics, you see, nothing independently exists as appears. So because you see things appears objectively, independently, then they are sort of grasping, grasping different object. So that help to create this is positive, this is negative, this is my friend, this is my enemy, like that. So for that, the similar quantum physics, if you investigate your enemy, investigate the enemy's body, not enemy, enemy's mind, not enemy, then where is the enemy? Where is the being? Nothing. So these, you see, thinking, you see, one, so what's the wisdom sight? Wisdom sight, investigate, nothing independently exists. Then method sight, altruism. These two things, you see, my main sort of daily practice. So now, these also the wisdom side, the Nagarjuna, Indian great master Nagarjuna, and his disciple, I don't think, not direct disciple, but his follower of him, the Chandrakirti, Madhyamika Avatara Nama. I always read these books. That, you see, Chandrakirti, quite bold. She expressed their like the Kaza, Bosuband, and Dignac, so on, these sort of great master, they too much afraid. Nothing independently exists, just a mere designation. Because also they fear, so they abandon, you see, this theory. When I saw that, and I feel I quite fortunate. I feel these sort of theory very fit in my mind. So I'm, I think, quite close disciple of Chandrakirti. So every day, Madhyamika Avatara Nama, the text, and his own sort of commentary. I always keep that book and read. So I'm hoping I'm not included Bosuband or that group like that. So these practice, you see, brings real sort of realistic sort of attitude. Nothing independently exists. All ultimately related with we call ignorance. So two method. One side altruism. One side nothing independently exists as appears. These two practice combine, very powerful. The result, you see, you feel always, you see, these negative emotions related with these two things. Since these two things are reduced, so negative emotion much reduced. Okay.
Your Holiness, toward the end of your new book, you actually mention altruism and economy. You share new ways of directing us toward a new humane economy based on the 6 virtues that are the basis of ethics of compassion, which are mindfulness, empathy, nonviolence, truthfulness, transparency, and responsibility. You are often quoted as saying, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. My question, Your Holiness, would you please share with us your wisdom about how supporting the well-being of all creatures naturally includes taking care of your own personal well-being as well, and this will contribute to the survival of humanity?
가서
가서 시행을 재화치에 단 시행을 야고치에 냠도 수수연 수이 가서 야고친다.
수수가래.
수수연 다고치 해셔로. 수수를 재고치에 디케 첨부시내니 저기 고려나 조미의 변도시나.
That's logically. You see, we are part of 7 billion human beings. In order to serve them, you should be example of their sort of also the their life. So when you practice these things, and meantime tell that other people have more convinced since this is that person practice these things. So telling us, so believe. While I'm sort of telling compassion, whenever some small things happen, show anger, then hypocrisy by teaching become hypocrisy. So like that. So you see, practice, firstly, oneself you should practice, then share with other people. So when we are part of the human being, since we are part of the human being, oneself should be good example to other. So therefore, you see, that's the way, also the proper way to serve. If you also practice and saying something different, then how to bring trust? 가서다 이지가 가서래 전체버 전투버.
So when you preach others to do good, to be compassionate and so forth, you should be an example to them through your own practice.
So now about 87-year-old, right? According to my own experience, these as soon as wake up and thinking two things, Upaya side, Prajna side, or wisdom side, and method side, see that also the shaping my mind, then whole day you see these practice also the influence of these practice whole day. Remember that. And then for me, the sleep very important. So when you get sleep, your mind very peaceful, then sleep also very peaceful. Too much anxiety, too much anger, firstly, that disturb your sleep. All right. Thank you. Next now.
Your Holiness, can you hear me, Your Holiness? Can you hear me? Sorry.
Dr. Gupta?
Yeah.
It looks like we have time just for 2 questions, one from each of you. And then Ms. Walton will conclude with the brief concluding remarks.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Very good. Your Holiness, thank you. I was reflecting on a conversation we had a few years ago when I attended one of your lectures. And you made the point, as you are saying now, that we are born with compassion, which made a lot of sense. As human beings, in order to survive and thrive, we needed to take care of each other. But I wonder, do you ever think why that compassion starts to fade as we get older? I was also reading a recent report from a neuroscientist at the University of British Columbia who describes this idea that compassion does fade even as you're exposed to more and more tragedy. Instead of the compassion increasing in response to that tragedy, your overall compassion actually goes down. That didn't make sense to me. Why would that happen? And I just wonder if you ever thought about that. You talk about how to build compassion, but do you ever wonder why it starts to fade in the first place?
그래서
British Columbia, Canada, the University neuroscientist, 좀 지통선서. 디나가 알아서 다시 간에 막고 통되네. 다도 지금 당황 인지인데 인지 삼바요나야. 디 인지디 이런 것이 친구들 곧 냠줘야 총총총줘야 시켜지 셔셔 디크랑 이지 게임인도스. 어쨌든 미 총중감에 지금 상부치야 돼. 여기는 견도도 돼. 아직 라도네 잡시도. 디나면 컨디션.
That's, I think, just see they remain or relying on just our instant, because of the instant sort of feeling, not thinking or reasoning. Now, I think one unique thing about the Nalanda tradition, in order to practice these things, we extensively use logical approach. So always reasoning. Even you feel some sort of discourage, and then further investigate what value discourage. So the analytical meditation just was the because of the single-pointed meditation and not much effective. Recently, I was, some time back, I was in Japan. My one talk in one temple, and I told them the single-pointed meditation, good, but better analytical meditation and discuss. And I sort of suggested that this very sort of hall should use not only just single-pointed meditation, but debate, more discussion. I express. So, debate and further investigation. Then, through sort of thorough debate and analytical meditation, then ultimately your self-centered emotion, then finally say, oh, I'm wrong. No proper reason. Anger or fear, selfish, all these emotion which bring problem, investigate, no basis. Then altruism and everything does not exist independently. Things are interdependent. Now these are the about Pratitya Samupand and Shunyata. So these sort of practice, you see, actually destroy the very basis of selfish is ignorance. So the one unique thing about the Nalanda tradition is not just a single-pointed faith. No, investigate. So I'm the one student of Nalanda tradition. Since 8th century, the Nalanda master invited to Tibet. His name Shantarakshita, great logician, great philosopher. So since he introduced the Nalanda tradition, then we Tibetan Buddhists follow that way. So we consider the logical approach is very, very important. Even one's own teacher say something, we have to investigate. Buddha himself, you see, mentioned, oh, my follower should not follow my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation. Buddha himself, you see, told. So, many Nalanda masters, they investigate Buddha's own word, then they find some Buddha's word, they find contradiction, so they reject. So that's Nalanda tradition. Me also, I'm tiny follower of Nalanda tradition. So even some Tibetan Lamas, sort of some teaching, when I read that part, then I feel, oh, with salutation, I can't accept your view, like that. So that's very good, very good. Whole teaching based on reasoning. So we can go with scientists. If faith, then we cannot go together with modern science. So now, I think now a few decades, I have sort of very often, you see, discussion with scientists. So eventually, at the beginning, some my friend, oh, don't, because of the close too much with science, your faith may may disturb. Then I have this conviction, things, investigation, logical approach. So therefore, say, I carry continuously. Then now after few decades, I myself half Buddhist monk, half scientist. Then number of scientists now really showing interest about these complicated philosophy, like that. So therefore, logical approach is very essential. It is wrong to say, oh, my Lama said that. No, investigate. Yes, next.
Thank you, Your Holiness. This next question will conclude our conversation this evening about consciousness, about COVID, about climate change, and about our connection with others and connection with people. The natural world can often seem distant and far removed from our daily lives and experiences. And we have seen during this pandemic that people are yearning for that connection, and more people are finding respite and strength in nature and with others, even if it is just from a digital connection. In your book, you observe that Buddha would be green. You describe how Buddha was born and his mother leaned against a tree for support, and he attained enlightenment sitting under the shade of a tree. These are powerful examples of our connection to and dependence on nature, ourselves, and each other. What can we do better to appreciate how a healthy planet sustains and restores our body, mind, and spirit? please tell us how your connection to one another and to oneself through meditation and daily practice can make us into the oneness of humanity that you tell us.
가서해.
다치 지금 지금 남샤샤로 디 공다 되게 토네야 지금 저 컨디션이 고쳐가 주시 제외나세요.
Now here, if we go deeper level, then two truth. One truth on the basis of appearance. One truth, ultimate reality. So the Nagarjuna says, Buddha taught according to truth. So the ultimate truth, the understanding about ultimate truth is as a direct opposite, opposing the ignorance. Then, conventional truth or altruism, all these things happen. So now this is more, also deeper level. Firstly, altruism reduce self-centered attitude. Then deeper level, then understanding about shunyata. So these practice, what we call Ubaya site, Tavshirva, Ubaya site, and Pranaya site. So, by daily sort of practice, as soon as I wake up, thinking these lines, very helpful, very helpful. And then hold my meditation based on these two truths. Okay, like that.
Thank you, Your Holiness. It has been a joy and an honor for Dr. Gupta and me to have this conversation with you. I would like to welcome Dr. Gupta to have any closing remarks with His Holiness. Thank you.
Your Holiness, thank you very much. We are very honored to be in your presence today. And somehow I always feel better whenever I get to spend some time with you. Maybe that's what you're teaching us all tonight, this morning, wherever you are in the world. But for me personally, it is hard to put in some sort of academic terms or to describe as a neuroscientist, but I just feel somehow more enlightened, more at peace, less agitated, and very thankful. And so what an honor. Melanie, thank you very much for allowing me to be here tonight. What a pleasure. And I wish all of you, I can see many of your faces on the screen, I wish all of you good spirit and good health as we get through these next several months.
Thank you. Now basically, both Buddhist student of Nalanda tradition who study logical approach, and then modern scientists, we both seeker of truth, not just faith. So naturally, in a certain field, we can learn from scientists. Number point, the scientists begin to learn like that. So,
True.
I think the human brain, the source of ability to analyze or investigate, that is very, very precious. Very precious. So all problem can solve with this deeper understanding about the reality very helpful. Just a desire, wish, not answer, analyze, like that. Okay.
Your Holiness. Your Holiness, before we conclude, Ms. Walton has a brief closing remarks, please.
Thank you, Your Holiness, for this time this evening. I speak now for everyone who has joined us today. We are all moved by your wisdom and grateful for the opportunity to hear directly from you on how to improve the health and well-being of people and our planet. We agree with you that the world must foster, practice, and value compassion if we hope to find solutions to the many challenges facing humanity. As Your Holiness has said, compassion is a necessity, not a luxury, and we are here to share in your deep commitment to making our world a more peaceful and sustainable home for all 7.5 billion of its residents. Your Holiness, Rob and I are honored to share with you how your vision for a global culture of compassion is transpiring at Emory University. It has been our delight to work closely with Geshe Lobsang and his colleagues at Emory to realize this important vision. As we seek to promote compassion in all sectors of society, we are happy to share that Emory is undertaking a number of steps to help people understand its value, to train and support the practice of compassion, and to research its benefits. Starting tomorrow, Emory will be hosting live, online daily compassion meditations that anyone in the world can join. I'd like to invite our audience to visit compassionshift.emory.edu to participate. In February, Emory will offer a 21-day challenge with video instruction, recorded meditations, and daily activities designed to cultivate a more inclusive, sustainable, and compassionate world. Please join us at compassionshift.emory.edu. And finally, we are looking forward to the formal international launch of Emory's Global Culture of Compassion initiative in the spring of 2022 with Your Holiness. This initiative will provide new training materials and online support in multiple languages tailored to organizational leadership, as well as unique needs of those working in healthcare, education, business, human services, and other fields. Your Holiness, Rob and I cannot express how much we look forward to being with you in person at that time. Let us close by offering our many prayers and best wishes for your continued good health, your long life, and the realization of your aspirations for compassion in the world. Thank you for guiding humanity at this time. We are so grateful. Namaste.
That's
Now,
all.
Geshe Lobsang.
No.
Paula, the other way. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Holiness. Thank you, Your Holiness, Ms. Walton and Dr. Gupta, for this rich and inspiring conversation. The insight that Your Holiness has offered will guide us and sustain us as we embark on the next important phase of our work towards advancing a global culture of compassion. Your Holiness's vision for compassion and ethical world for all is an inspiration for us all, and we pray for your long and healthy life and for your continued guidance on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, all religion, you see, carry one message of loving kindness. That, including animals, need loving kindness. Now we, human beings, and particularly the people who showing the sort of Nalanda tradition, then we extensively use our intelligence in order to promotion of warm-heartedness, loving kindness. So Once more, I want to thank my friend, not only just a friend, the spiritual brothers, sisters. I really appreciate. Thank you very much. And until my death, I determined to make some contribution for a better world, peaceful world. So similarly, my friend, you also, you see, should think how to build happy humanity, happy world. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.